Well, this is going to be one of the more odd starts to a classic video lately, but I came out here to just kind of see if I could get anything good for the couple of competitions that I entered. And I came to one of my favorite tree stands here on Red Feather Falls. We'll get in here super quick and I'll show you. It's this spot here that we go to all the time, and I looked over. I don't know if we can see where it is right now. Right there. We have a little albino black-tailed doe coming in. And very often in the Hunter Classic, for some reason, it seems like when there's one rare in the game, there's another one somewhere out there. I can't tell you the amount of times that either in multiplayer, two different people have killed rares, or I've just had two different ones in the same game. So rather than starting a new one, which was my initial plan, we're going to go ahead and take that albino and then just kind of go from there. So my plan was to kind of reproduce the route that I just did, but from here we're probably going to go like down through and then up around into Whitetail territory, and we'll kind of just go from there. But that's a pretty cool find. I don't know the last time I shot an albino blacktail. I'm just trying to like think back. I know we shot the melanistic blacktail buck maybe a year ago. I don't know that we've shot an albino since they did the new albino fur, because they used to be like a little more of a pale color. We'll just drop her there with the orange pulsar. We did get our 1000th with the red dragon compound bow on our Rudolph hunt, so just kind of adding to our kill total with this one. And a whitetail doe came in as well. I haven't heard anything else, so I think we'll get down. Let's actually see what that is, because one of the comps is for heaviest moose. Ooh. Hi. He's literally standing right there, so luckily he grunted, because we would have been sending him running really quickly. If he would be heavy, unfortunately he's not, but the whitetail competition's also for heaviest one shot from a tree stand, so that's kind of my plan, is to go from stand to stand. Now things are actually getting interesting. I was leaving this spot when I spotted the albino and came back. That is a little bit unfortunate that our other buck's just hiding behind that tree. I want to get this shot off pretty soon. He's still far enough away, there's no way he'd hear it. So let's try to drop him. That'll do good enough. And I know this guy was only up to 90 kg when we spotted him. So first place I think is 98.5, which is actually a pretty low score for it. Usually it's like 99.9, so that's kind of the initial thing I wanted to do this hunt for, just try to place in that comp. At least we're getting some bucks from a tree stand though. And now it's got me like looking around to make sure we don't miss anything, but that's probably a good enough angle to just take our shot here. And at least we didn't spook anything. We'd have been real close. If that other buck didn't grunt when he did, I was ready to get out of the stand, but I think we're good. And we'll just kind of quickly get everything claimed here. I definitely want to take a trophy shot of the blacktail. That's got us to 79th with an 82 kg one, so not the best. I probably shouldn't run around, but I'm gonna assume at least that most of the things in the area have come into the call by now. Because of course I started calling when I saw the doe, so they've had plenty of time to get in here. And the doe was kind of far when I initially saw her, the albino of course, so I gotta think anything else in the area has gotten here. But I didn't actually pay attention, I didn't mean to, but we dropped her kind of in the sunlight, so that'll be good. Kind of got lucky. Neck bone and liver and stomach there. But it did the job, so we'll try to get something lined up. I really just think the animal trophy shot poses have done so much for specifically trophy shots of rare females, actually. Because I can never get anything that looked that good in the past. But that's probably the best trophy shot I've taken, at least of a rare blacktail doe. I got a pretty good one of the albino whitetail doe we shot when those poses came out, but that's pretty cool. And now we gotta actually see. Yeah, I wanted to go like down through here and then up. I just like to try to do different routes than what I normally do, just to kind of change it up. I'm glad this guy at least chose to rest where we could see him, because he actually grunted and was coming into the call, and I just happened to be up high there where I could see him. But I did sort of expect that, and it's one of the negatives to like starting this video when we did, because normally I would have like, you know, started a fresh hunt at like 6 a.m. or whatever, and we'd have probably a good hour before most animals start to sleep. Sometimes moose will kind of early, but that is going to be a thing that we're kind of dealing with. So we'll just have to kind of work with what we have. But hopefully, at least, that's a bit of a weird angle. Get that in through both lungs. And I did see that moose that just called down there. He's definitely not big, and he wasn't heavy weight-wise, so not something that we could use for our competition. Just up to 540 on the weight, so yeah, nothing super special. We'll go ahead and get our buck and move on, because I don't think spending more time just sitting here after kind of not very interesting moose is going to help us for finding deer that are going to be going and resting soon. I really thought we might have been onto something, because I saw this guy, and he's definitely not a bad buck. He's 135 to 160, and we're actually like in this little stand here, so it would have counted for the comp, but he's only up to, what did that say, 85 kg, so definitely not winning us anything, but easily the best buck we've seen. And I think I should have aimed a little bit higher, because that's just going to be like the bottom of the near side lung, but that'll bring him down quickly enough. And maybe that'll lead us to something else, if I can get out of here. Oh, that was another buck coming in. He's definitely way smaller antler-wise, but he does go up to 95 kg, so he should be heavier. And actually, I like that angle better than what we just had. I think we just did the exact same thing, though. That felt fine. I'm not sure why that one hit low. Let's go and see. If we got him in the lungs, it's not going to be really a big deal. But if we didn't, it's going to cause us a little more tracking than we needed. Alright, we got lungs, so we'll track the other guy first, just since he'll have a little more time. Okay. I just saw a deer running off, actually. So, I'm not sure if that was the one that just grunted. That would have been a little bit weird. I'm sure it's possible. It was right about in the same spot. I guess there's a chance that it wasn't the same one. I don't know. I can't see it. We'll call a little bit and just walk up there and at least get the track, because worst case scenario we can have a chance at something else, because I have a tree stand over there. But this guy is definitely our best buck. 156, it was almost at the top end of that estimate. I don't think it's worth a trophy shot, but I want to go and see what's going on up here, because I couldn't tell what that was that ran off. It was just too far away to really know, and it could have been one that we spooked like from up there somewhere. That's a nice shed, by the way. Solid 88 for a single. I actually had a 97 earlier in this hunt. If those deer still had the antlers attached to their head and were walking around, that would be quite nice, but that's actually not a thing. The sheds are just random, so that doesn't mean anything as to what's actually in the game. I don't see this guy, so I gotta assume the one that I saw running was actually the buck that grunted. So he must have grunted and like immediately turned and ran. But we'll get a track. If it's not up to 100 kg, we're just gonna leave it, because we already have another one to go follow. But if it is, we'll definitely try to get him. Okay, so that's only 65 to 80, and that kind of does make sense with what I saw, because the one thing that I was pretty certain I didn't see was a huge buck running off, so I think we're just going to leave that. We'll go up and find our other one, and kind of get back on the path I wanted to be on, and all things considered, that actually wasn't too bad. Easy tracking, and I always like when they end up in the water like this, because it just happens a lot more often than you'd probably think in real life. For some reason, they just always manage to go down in the water. But 103, that was a 88 kg one, so that does improve our score. I don't know, because we're here, I think we're going to make a little bit of a change to our path. We're just going to kind of go past that tree stand and then up and around, just in case there's any bucks like near us. We can potentially get them from that stand. Okay, that's a really big buck. What do we have for an estimate on this guy? 170 to 195. I really just wish we'd get an estimate into the 200s to make it exciting, because we got one like this on, I think it was last Wednesday's stream. Was just about to take that shot, but he's only 80 to 90. I think he's an 8x8, so I don't know what's holding him back. There's no stickers this time. The last one had I think 3 different stickers that knocked him below 190. That's gotta be one of the better ones we've killed, I think. There were 2 different sides to that one. Like, number 1, seeing a buck that big, I thought he was gonna be up to 100 kg. And then I realized he might have actually been something special. Let's see what we have here. He does have shorter tines. 175. I kind of thought it might have been another one of those really big looking 170s. And I think it is the tine length that's killing him because he is pretty much perfect. I really want to just go and see what his subtotal is because I'm sitting here and looking. He does have short tines, but anywhere that he has longer tines, the opposite side matches. So he can't actually have that much for deduction, but we'll try to get a quick trophy shot here. The sun is not exactly ideal for this. It's kind of facing the opposite way of what I'd want, but we'll see what we can get lined up. Alright, well, I guess we're gonna go with that, because for one, we're not far from the tree stand, so we could still get something for that competition. That very well could have been a blacktail buck, by the way. We're in an area where they can get into as well. But it wasn't like that was a huge deer that we just shot, so I'm not too worried about not getting the best trophy shot. That is a whitetail. Weight-wise, he's heavier again, up to 95 though, so not quite enough to place us. I'm not really sure why he's intent on going down that way. And it's not like our shooting has been the best, but I think we might just try that. There's 42. Alright, finally we made a decent shot at range. But I just wanted to get out of here and actually move on because I don't imagine there's a lot more deer hanging out here. And we're an hour into this and we actually haven't covered that much ground. Like we really started here. So we've only gotten, I don't know, a couple of kilometers. And I still wanted to go all the way up around through whitetail territory, and it feels like a decent spawn. I mean, it's not like the bucks we've shot have been hugely high scoring, but that last one was an 8x8, and the first one was a 156, maybe 6x6. So he had a lot more room on that frame to have more tines and be higher scoring. I think we shot this guy straight in the spine. We got along as well, but that definitely helped drop him. And that is our 500th Blaze Orange Pulsar kill, so 500 more of those. And I think the only bows left in the game that we won't have 1,000 kills with would be the Carbon Recurve, the longbow, and the cableback bow, which I don't know if I'm ever going to actually get 1,000 with those last two, but I'm probably going to try. I almost knew this was coming before I even saw this guy. We just talked about like this being a pretty good whitetail spawn, and then we had another grunt. 35 to 60 on the score estimate for that guy, and of course he's going to be nowhere near 100 kg, so we'll just hopefully get him taken down and just kind of get him out of our way. But that's 3 bucks now all in this little area. I don't tend to get that many here, but this whole thing is kind of different than normal because usually this wouldn't be where I'm at like at this time in the hunt. It just happened to be one of those things where I kind of just continued this hunt because of the albino, and honestly it's worked out pretty well. I feel like for the amount of bucks that we've seen, most other hunts we would have seen one that goes up to 100 kg is the estimate. But all of them today, most of them don't even make 95, but there were a few that got even that far. The rest just haven't been all that heavy, but at least we're getting bucks. I mean, if we don't place in that comp, I wouldn't really mind that, as long as we're getting like the amount of bucks and the size of the bucks that we are. So I definitely can't complain, but it would be nice just to, if we're not going to see like huge ones all the time, just every now and then to get an estimate up to 100 to have that side of things get interesting. But this guy is 79 kg. He definitely wasn't huge, but anything above that like 120 mark can be basically the max weight. Now we're just kind of going the other direction, 65 to 75 on this guy. Which initially when I saw it, I was kind of disappointed because I do want to actually like get something decent for that comp because again, with it only being I think 98.5 whatever it was for first place, it's very winnable and there's only like 13 hours left, but we're actually nowhere near a tree stand or a tower, so that wouldn't have been the best place to run into one anyway. Still a solid 112. We got some GM out of it, but not exactly good weight for what that could have been. Alright, so finally, we have a track up to 100 kg. It's not that old. I'm a little bit worried about the direction it's going because that water in front of us is far too deep to cross. And I hope that it just continued off this way, because if it went the other way, I'd say it probably would have been coming into the call for that last buck, and I'm sure we set him running if that's the case, so hopefully that is not going to be. Although he's turning kind of in the direction I didn't want him to go. I think that's going to be him. So he's not up to 100, which I guess, again, is kind of good because there's a tree stand like straight across from us. But I don't think we could even fast travel yet if we wanted to use it. Let's make sure. Yeah, that's 85 to 95 now, so that is the same buck. We'll just kind of get him taken out hopefully quickly. I don't think we actually spooked him, so he should come in. This isn't exactly ideal, though. He actually just stopped behind that rock. I think he has us pinned. I'm pretty sure. So we're going to get the gun ready and then stand up. We were fractions of a second from missing on that. And just the fact that we spent the time to track him, I didn't want to let him actually get away. That would have been our best entry, but we still haven't even topped 90 kg, which I feel like on most whitetail hunts we would. But anyway, I want to hopefully get down to this tower, and that's where I'd like to end, but I don't know. The fact that we just shot a gun, I guess we'll run a bit. So it looks like for the most part we just have does and cow moose around here. And there are a lot of them, but actually that doesn't work out too badly because there is one bull moose, and he's definitely not enough to get us anywhere in that comp, just up to 550 kg. But I've got the one remaining 30-06 round, which happens a lot actually. In these videos we're often like using up the last ones. But we'll just drop him there, and at least next time we head out with the 30-06 we'll have a full pack of bullets. I don't see any bucks running off, so I think we'll go and get him. And for a 2-hour hunt, that was not bad, or I guess actually closer to 2.5, considering part of it wasn't actually recorded. But the only really interesting kills prior to the albino blacktail, I did shoot a 313 elk that I forgot about, but that's actually not really all that special, and definitely the better stuff came after that. The albino blacktail doe, 175 whitetail, and we also had the 156. I definitely can't complain about that, and I want to go and see the subtotal in that 175. I can only figure that it was short tines that got us there, because he had a really nice looking frame. But we're literally hitting the 2-hour mark as we're claiming this guy. Heart shot at 140 meters, 138 scoring moose, so not huge, but I don't know, it's got us into 13th in that comp. And yeah, it was good to get back out here on Red Feather and go for whitetail again, because we kind of had the Rudolph hunts for a while and stuff, so it's been a bit since we got out here, and definitely not a bad hunt. By the way, I forgot to mention it the entire time. I thought of it several times, but I forgot. I'm not sure that they did do anything about the albino blacktail fur, because looking back at that, it was more of that like pink pale color that all the albinos used to be. So maybe they only did like mule deer, whitetail, and moose. I swear they did blacktail, but that didn't look fixed to me, so I actually don't know what the deal is with that. But I don't know, maybe I was remembering wrong and they never did anything. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.